y'all. Welcome back to my live broadcast. I'm Shanta Prince, and I help coaches leverage their gifts and expertise into a profitable coaching program. So I want to talk about 3 ways conversations lead to sales. But before we get into that, first of all, those of you who were hanging out with me all for the last 9 days during the Branded Sales Masterclass, thank you so much. I'll be sending out an email shortly. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It was a really blessed and beautiful time. So, and some of you already know that from a post that I made that I have been battling this cough and a sore throat, sinus congestion for the last few days. So if I sound a little congested or if you hear me coughing, that's the whole thing behind that. So and then y'all, like I tested twice for COVID and they both came back negative. Because I just knew, I'm like, I just know this is COVID. I'm like, I know this has to be COVID. It's not. I took 2 tests and they both came back negative. So but even if it was, I'd probably still be here talking to you guys anyway. But so today I want to talk about 3 ways conversations lead to sales. So one of the things that I'm always talking about with my clients is about having conversations with people, because conversations lead to sales. And I'm going to explain that in just a minute. A lot of times I see people marketing or advertising, and the whole thing behind their marketing is they're finding ways to close more clients without actually like talking to them. And that's okay if you have a really great way of doing that. But what I found is that if you are able to close sales like that without like talking to people, you have a really strong track record, or you have a lot of really awesome testimonials, and maybe people don't need to talk to you because you have a strong track record or you have really great testimonials. But there are some reasons why I encourage my clients to talk to their ideal clients, talk to their people. And we'll get into some of those in just a minute. But at the end of the day, you guys, having conversations with people lead to sales. So I always say, if you're doing a consultation can lead to a client. Conversations lead to clients. Consultations lead to clients. A consultation is a conversation. Okay, so but the conversations usually start when we're leveraging the power of social media. A lot of times the conversation can start right in a direct message conversation. I close a lot of sales. Most of my sales come from the direct messages. But that's a lot of times where the conversation starts. The conversation a lot of times begins in the direct messages. And there's some ways to go about having conversations with ideal clients in the direct messages. There is a strategic way to do that. Now, I know for some people, it can be intimidating because we don't want to come off as pushy or salesy. And the thing is, what I've learned with the direct messages is that people don't like it because they get people spamming them all the time in the direct messages. And what I mean by spamming is sending someone a sales message when you don't know them, right? In essence, that's what spamming is. You're sending out a sales message to someone who doesn't know you. But what I teach inside of my program is how to build relationships, how to connect with your audience and build relationships. So when you are ready to sell, you're not spamming. You don't feel like you're spamming them because you know them. You built a relationship with them. And so that's one thing to keep in mind is your relationships. And I talked about this during the Branded Sales Masterclass last week. Your relationships with your audience makes all the difference when it comes to sell. If you're just posting, hoping someone is going to click on your link, you're going to be probably very disappointed because a lot of times they won't. So when you have conversations with people, and the number one reason why conversations lead to sales is because you get to, first of all, find out what this person actually wants. You get to find out what this person actually wants. Now, when it comes to selling, you guys, it's really important to know what your ideal clients want. Okay? That's so important. You have to know what they want. That is what's going to make you an awesome salesperson, is starting out knowing what your ideal clients want. having a conversation can help you to understand that better. And a lot of times, you guys, what one person wants, you start to find the pattern. So if you talk to one person and looking for a specific outcome, you talk to another person who is an ideal client and they're looking for a specific outcome. And then before you know it, you'll start to recognize patterns of what people your ideal clients actually want. This is why I'm able to put together offers so quickly because I'm constantly having conversations with people and I know what my ideal clients want. So when I put together an offer, it's usually because I've talked to several people and I'm finding a need in a specific area, okay? If you find a need or a problem that needs to be solved, that's a great idea for something that you could offer, whether it's a program, whether it's a course, or however you put it together. When you discover a problem or something that people are needing, that's a great idea for an offer. Okay. So when you have conversations with people in your audience, you get to find out what they want. Okay. And that helps you to determine if they're a great fit for your program or your offer. Okay. Now, sometimes you're going to come across people who they want to work with you, but maybe you know deep down inside that your program or your skill set is not what's going to help them get where they're trying to go. And but the only way you're going to find that out is if you actually having conversations with people. And when you have conversations with people, you avoid things like people getting in your program and feeling frustrated or dissatisfied. If you know you can't help that person or your skills are not going to get them to where they're trying to go, that's okay, right? It just means they're not your ideal client. Maybe you're just not the right person for them, right? But maybe somebody else can get them there. I have no problems referring people. If I connect with someone and I'm like, ooh, I don't think I can help you with that, I do know somebody who can though. And I will connect them with somebody else. So you get to a place where you're choosing the right people over the dollar. And that's the way to go, because in the end it avoids you having some pain, it avoids that client from having some pain. So when you talk to people, you get to find out what they want and then you get to figure out if they're a good fit for your program. Okay, so that's the number one. Okay, the second reason why conversations lead to sales is because that person who you're considering enrolling, who is considering enrolling in your program, they get the opportunity to ask you questions. And that is powerful when it comes to selling, because a lot of times, when we're selling, a lot of times it's like, okay, when you get the pitch out there, you think that, okay, that's selling, and it is. But the sale really starts when the ideal client starts asking questions, right? So you really start selling when they start asking you questions. And a lot of times, you guys, if someone is interested in your program and they may have questions deep down inside that are just unanswered, and so because of that, they just keep going. They just keep it moving. They keep go on to the next thing. But when you have conversations, they get to ask you about your program. They get to ask you about certain things. So I've had several conversations over the past few days where people are just able to ask me, hey, well, what about this? What about that? You guys, that's a really important part of the sales process. Okay. Your ideal clients being able to ask questions. That's very important. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Jackie. So when people are asking you questions, that's when the sale actually starts, y'all. Like, it's not just the pitch, right? It's giving them that time to be able to ask you more about your program, because sometimes people just need a little bit more information to be able to make a decision. And that's what it really is all about, okay? So, which leads me to the third reason why conversations lead to sales is because you get the opportunity to deal with objections. And objections are the reasons that people have for not joining your program, reasons that people have for not taking that next step. You guys, a lot of times we think an objection is a rejection, and it's really most of the time it's not. Okay, an objection is a lot of times, y'all, is just a clue that the ideal client needs more information. So let's say, for example, in your program, you record all of your live sessions, and let's say one of your ideal clients has an objection, and they're saying, well, Jackie, I don't know if I want to join your program because I just don't think I'm going to have enough time to be able to do, to attend the sessions and things like that. Okay. So that's an objection that Jackie can in turn say, okay, well, all of our sessions are recorded and you can go back and catch any sessions that you miss, right? So that may solve that ideal client's issue. Maybe they're like, oh, okay, you record everything. That's wonderful. But that objection is an example of they just need more information. Okay. It's not a rejection. It's just, oh, they need more information. And when you're able to give them that information, then it can make all the difference for that person making a decision to join your program. So when you have conversations with people, it makes all the difference in being able to enroll them in your program. Number one, you get to find out what they want and if they are a great fit. That's very important, you guys, because you want to find people who are in need of your gifts and your skill set. That's so important because they're going to get the most out of your program when they actually need what you're offering. When you have a conversation, you get to figure that out. So that's why inside of my program, I show my clients how to pre-qualify someone before you even get on a sales call with them or a consultation call. How do you pre-qualify them before you even get to that point? Because what happens is when you don't pre-qualify people before you get on the phone with them, you exhaust yourself talking to people who are never going to buy your program anyway, or talking to people who are not a good fit for your program. So the way that you avoid those instances is by pre-qualifying people before you even get on the phone with them, okay? So inside of my program, we talk about, okay, how do you pre-qualify someone before you even get to that point, okay? So the first thing is finding out what they want. What does your program help them to reach their goals? So in order for you to figure that out, you got to find out, okay, what does this person want? Where are they trying to go? And can I help them to get there, okay? Find out what they want and find out if they're a great fit, okay? The second thing is that it gives them an opportunity to ask questions. When you have conversations with people, they have the opportunity to ask you questions. And never take offense to that, you guys, because sometimes, especially if you're selling high ticket. If you're selling high ticket, listen, take your time and answer people's questions, okay? Because you answering their questions can make the difference between them closing or not. So giving them that time and that space, because guess what? You answering their questions is a reflection of how you are as a coach or a mentor. So if you take time to answer their questions before they even join, like a lot of people ask me questions all the time, and I answer their questions. And sometimes those questions are about my program, and then sometimes they're not. And that's because I built relationships with people. And if it's something quick, like I was telling my clients the other day, there are a lot of things that I only do for my clients. There's some things that only they have access to. And that's because they're investing. These are paying clients, and I respect them and I honor them for investing. Okay. And so because of that, there's some things that are only reserved for them. And so if the question is like something that I only do for my clients, I usually say, hey, this is a service that I provide for my clients only. And but if it's something that's quick, like, well, what email list providers do you recommend? That's a quick question that I can quickly respond back to. But you guys, believe it or not, a lot of people they're looking at those things. So if people are asking you questions, quick questions that you can just answer and you're responding, that's still a conversation, right? And it's still a reflection on your brand. Now, I'm not saying you have to be sitting there like answering very deep and detailed questions, but if it's just a quick question that you can respond to, that makes a difference. Well, because that's the conversation. The conversation is going, which is an amazing thing. And the fact that they think about you when they have a question about a specific thing, that's amazing. That means you're doing a great job building your brand, because when this person has a question, they think about you and then they come to you and they ask you that question. But still, it keeps that conversation going. So whether the person has the time and space to ask you questions about your program, or they have the time and space to ask you about a question that they know you know the answer to, both of those are good things that keep the conversation rolling, okay? And then you get an opportunity to deal with people's objections. Y'all, guess what? When you talk to people and you listen to their concerns about joining your program, it makes you a better salesperson. because you start to learn, oh, you know what? A lot of people have said this. How can I fix this area of my program so that people don't have to worry about this specific thing? So, for example, one of the objections that I get is for people. Now, I meet with my clients every Tuesday night. So, one of the things that objections that I get is some people just cannot do Tuesday nights. They're like, there's no way I could make it on a Tuesday night. And see, the bulk of my program is working with my clients live. Like, that's the biggest part of it, is working with my clients live. So for them, they feel like, oh, I'm going to miss out on these specific things. So what I've been working on inside of my program is, in addition to all this stuff, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm finally actually in the process of implementing it. So one of the things with my clients, like I told you, the bulk of my work with them is live. So if we're talking about sales, that's in a live setting. But when my clients have specific questions, I go right in and show them how to do it, or I will explain it. So because of that, a lot of the content is like spread out in our live sessions. So for example, if you wanted to know about, a specific thing, you would have to go back to that live session where we talked about it. So one of the things that I'm working on right now is putting things, sectioning things off. So if you want to learn about sales, then you go to the sales section and you just watch all of the sessions on sales. If you want to learn about how to set your email list up, then you go to that section, right? So that will eliminate. So for people who feel like, oh, I can't be there every Tuesday, or I can't show up every Tuesday, they can still go and get quality training videos and still be able to implement the things that they need to implement. But I only learned that from talking to people. Right? So if you're out and you feel like you're guessing, or you don't know exactly what people want, I promise you, if you talk to people, you will find out. The only way you know why people don't buy or what's the reason is by talking to them. So when I did an offer a while back, and the offer was not selling, and I knew it was something that my clients wanted, but the offer just wasn't selling. And so I'm like, what is going on with this offer? So I started talking to my people, and I found out that people wanted it. It's just the date that they couldn't do. The date and time was just not good, because most of my ideal clients are working and they're building their coaching or consulting business on the side. But my ideal clients eventually don't want to work for anybody. They want to be they want freedom. So they're working their jobs, but on the side, they're building their businesses. And that's for, not all of my clients are in that position, but most of my ideal clients are working and they're building on the side so that eventually they can leave. Okay. So because of that, they're like, Shanta, we work there. Like, we can't do like this session because we're at work. So after talking to my people, this is what they're telling me. And I'm like, oh, well, duh. So I went back and I changed the date, and then it started selling. Okay. So y'all, like, I cannot express this enough, that you got to talk to your people. Sometimes when you're selling something, the offer may be great, but you won't know why people aren't buying it unless you're engaging with your audience and talking to them on a regular basis to find out what it is they want and need from you. Okay. So when you're dealing with objections, just remember that it's not for you to get offended, right? This is a person that you want to work with, a person that you want to bring into your program. So sometimes they have reasons why, but if you can deal with that objection by giving them more information, that's how you deal with an objection, you guys. When you deal with objection, you just provide information. That's it, right? Because some people, it's intimidating, because it's like, oh my gosh, they're saying this or they're saying that. An objection is a clue that they need more information. That's it. So if their objection is, well, you know what? I don't know if this is good for me because I'm brand new, right? So if someone says that to me, well, I don't know if this is good for me because I'm brand new. Y'all, guess what? I specialize in helping people who are brand new. That's my specialty. And so that would be my objection. You know what? I specialize in helping people who are brand new to coaching and consulting in a business setting. And you know, when you're new, you're in a safe place. This is the right place for you. So that's an example of me providing more information. That's all selling is, you guys. It's just that person saying, hey, they need more information about this specific area. And when you deal with those objections, then you're giving them more information, and then eventually you may end that conversation with a new client. But some people, when they get an objection, they feel like, oh, they don't want to join the program. And that's not always the case. They just need some more information. But if you're not having conversations with your people, you won't ever know or understand that. So I'm always encouraging my clients, talk to people, engage with people. I used to feel some kind of way about talking to people in the messages. Now I love it, because what I used to do was I would sell by only running ads. That was how I did everything. I would just run an ad, and then that was just it. But when I really started connecting with people, see, as an introvert, the tendency is to just be standoffish, let people come through my ad, and then I sell them something, right? And that's okay. It's not wrong. However, when I started selling high ticket, I realized how important it is to talk to people. Now, y'all, if I'm selling a $17 product, I have a product that I sell for $17. I don't necessarily need to talk to people for a $17 product, right? I buy products like that all the time. I don't need to know the person. I just need to know, what does this thing do? And I'm a sucker for buying a quick product like that. So what does the thing do? I don't need to know who created it. I don't need to know the person. I don't need to know their life story, because it's $17, right? But if somebody's spending 8,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, they need to know you, right? They need to see your face. They need to feel connected with you. They may need to see some of your content, because they're making a big investment, right? It's just like when you buy a house, okay? If you buy a house, like for example, when I ordered my daughter's Barbie house for a few Christmases back, um, I ordered my daughter's Barbie house, and it was a Barbie house, right? So I can look at that thing online and just be like, oh, that's really cute, and then order it. Okay, but actually, my mom, her grandmother, paid for it, but I just ordered it. But I could look at this thing and be like, oh, you know what? This is cute. Let me order it, right? It's a Barbie house. It's $100 and some. You know, I can see the picture. I'm good. But when I bought my house, the process was a lot different, because I need to see it. I need to show up. I need to see this thing. I need to order the inspection on it. And I need to go back and see it again. Then I need to go back and make sure the work that needed to be finished is actually finished. The process is a lot different, because it's a bigger investment. So that's what I'm saying to you, is that and to my clients. When I work with my clients, I'm always trying to show them that when you're selling high ticket, you show up like someone who commands that kind of money, who commands that kind of investment. So if you're selling high ticket, you can't do the things that a person who's selling a $17 product does. Okay. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying you can't sell a $17 product, but what I am saying is my $17 product, those buyers don't need as much as someone who's investing $8,000 or $10,000 or $25,000 with me. They don't need the same stuff. Okay. High ticket, it's better for you you got to have conversations with people. Okay. And I see a lot of people, they want to sell high ticket, but they don't want to talk to people. They don't want to have those conversations with people. So my thing is, what I'm saying to you today is, conversations lead to sales. For those of you who are selling high ticket, you got to be willing to talk to people. Okay. Now, I'm not saying there's no way to sell high ticket without having conversations, because there are. But usually, if someone is selling a high ticket program and they don't need to have a conversation, that person is well known, or they're well established, and people don't need a lot to be able to buy with them. But usually, if I buy high ticket from someone without a conversation, it's because I've been watching this person for a while. Do y'all get what I'm saying? If I've been watching this person for a while and I see them showing up and I see their clients' results, and I've been in some of their events, then I don't necessarily need a conversation because I've been watching this person for a while. Okay, so I could just go to their page and just enroll into their program. But the thing is, so many people don't want to do the things that a high ticket like a person with a high ticket program should be doing. Okay, um, when you're selling high ticket, then you show up like that person. Okay. If you're selling a $17 product, you may not need to do as much. I don't need to do a whole lot for my $17 product. Okay. How I listen, I could run an ad, and as a matter of fact, I will be very soon. I could run an ad to that thing and sell a ton of $17 products. But when you decide to invest with me in my high ticket program, you need to know a little something about me first. Okay. You need to see me, see my style. Not everybody likes my teaching style, right? Not everybody's going to like your teaching style, but that's okay, right? Because the people who you're called to serve are going to love your teaching style. They're going to love your story. They're going to love your style, your personality. Okay. So conversations lead to sales. Okay. Finding out what people want and finding out if they're a great fit. Okay. Giving people the space, the time and the space to ask questions about your program or ask questions in general. And then number three, dealing with people's objections, which really is, like Natasha shared, it's a clue that they need more information. Okay, that's really what it is. They just really need some more information. Exactly. I love that, Natasha. When selling high ticket, show up like a high ticket boss. Exactly. And y'all, listen, my clients already know. They know what to do. They know how they listen. They know what to do. But the thing is, y'all, I see so many people, they're frustrated because they're having trouble selling their high ticket program, but they're not showing up like a person who commands that kind of dollar. Okay. When people are investing with you on a greater level, we talked about this in the Branded Sales Masterclass last week. There's certain things that a high ticket investor is looking for. It's just like when I was getting into real estate investing. I was a realtor for a while, and I was just talking to one of my former clients yesterday, and I was like, I love real estate, and I was like, I should go back and get my license. But when I was when I was in real estate, you guys, I learned a lot of different things about selling, and I didn't get it at the time. I was just like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Y'all, I was in my little introvert bubble. And when they told me that I actually had to talk to people, I was like, wait a minute now, what you mean? Like, I was in when I got my real estate license, I was in at an agency where we had what's called non-competing brokers. And that means that the broker of that real estate office does not sell, but he gets paid when we get paid. So it's in his interest to train us and teach us how to sell, so that when I go out and close a sale, he's getting a portion of that because he's helping me and supporting me along the way. And when he first told me about prospecting and finding leads and like knocking on doors to talk to people, I was like, listen, I can't do this. Like, this is not, I'm pretty sure the Lord didn't call me to this, right? But now I get it. I understand like what he means when it comes to selling. And a house is a big ticket item, y'all. And so when you're selling a big ticket item, you make sure you're showing up, like Natasha said, showing up like a high ticket boss, right? Showing people that you can do what you actually say you can do. Demonstrating your gifts, y'all. So one of the things, like when I read the scriptures, one of my favorite things about Jesus is that he showed up and demonstrated his gifts. Y'all cracking me up. Y'all, I'm so tired of this cough. I'm working with it though, but I'm so over this cough. Not gonna be able to do it exactly. I was like, I was like, get somebody else to do it because I can't do this. But y'all, all of the principles that I learned when it comes to selling in real estate, it's the same concept, the same idea. Because when you're investing in a real estate agent, that's like a high ticket sale right there. Because most real estate agents, make around about 3% of that sale. If it's two agents, if the commission is 6%, a lot of times they're splitting it two ways. One agent gets 3%, the other agent gets 3%. My agency, where I was, we were a 7% agency, y'all. So we were a little bit more than the rest of the industry. So standard where I was at the time was 6%. So that means when that house closes, 6% of that sale goes to the agents and they split it two ways. My agency was above standard. They were a 7% agency, you guys. So I really had to learn how to validate, or not necessarily validate, but I had to learn how to communicate my value, because I had to convince this person, well, why should I go with you when I got to give out 7% of the sale of my home when I could go to this agency and give up 6%, right? So I had to learn how to like communicate some value pretty quickly. And so that's one of the things that I'm able to help my clients to do, is to communicate the value of what they're bringing to the table. I helped a client close a $30,000 sale like this. She was in the process of, she was preparing for the conversation. And so one of the things that we did, we went through each part of what she was going to do in this offer, and we really focused on communicating the value of each part. And then she was like, well, they're telling me they're not going beyond 27,000. She's like, but I really want more. And I said, well, let's ask for more. So she did. She asked for more money. But what we did was we articulated why she was asking for more money. We were able to show the value that she's bringing to the table, and she was able to ask for more money. So this is what I mean, guys, by like when you're selling high ticket, then you show up like a person who's selling high ticket. Okay. I love what Natasha said. Show up like a high ticket boss. I love this. I think I'm going to be hearing this in my head over and over. Show up like a high ticket boss, you guys. And that's in essence, she just pretty much summarized what I've been saying, is a person who's selling high ticket, you show up differently. And when I see these people, they're frustrated because, like, people, they're not investing because they don't see it yet. Okay. So when I talk about how when I read in the scriptures how Jesus, he showed up and he demonstrated his gifts, y'all. He said, you know what? I can tell you about this kingdom, but I can show you better. And so when people were getting healed and people were getting delivered, that was a demonstration of his gifts, right? He was showing up and showing people, listen, this is what the kingdom looks like, right? When you're showing up and you're serving people, you're basically saying to them, hey, this is what it looks like inside of my program, right? This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like to work with me. And when you do that on a regular basis, you show up, like Natasha said, like a high ticket boss. But you guys, don't run from your people. Talk to your people. And at some point, maybe one day you may get to the point where if you do the stuff, like I just went over with my clients on Tuesday about stuff they should be doing every single week. Okay. Now, when they do this stuff that we talked about on a regular basis, they'll start to see more sales coming in from people just clicking a link, right? They'll start to have people, let's say somebody's been following Jackie for a while, and they see Jackie's videos and things like that, and they've been watching her for 3 months. And then one day Jackie posts her link, and then they click her link and they join her program from her link. That can and will happen, but it stems from them liking Jackie, knowing Jackie, and trusting Jackie enough to click that link without a conversation. Okay. So when you're looking for people to just click your link, that comes from a history of consistency. Okay. But at the end of the day, the way that you close those sales is by having conversations with people. Okay. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the conversations, or what kind of conversations to have with people, if you want to know how to close sales online by having conversations, I want you to reach out to me, okay? If you're watching me on YouTube, you can email me at info@shantraprince.com. If you're watching me on LinkedIn or Facebook, just shoot me a message. And we could talk more about how I can help you to close more sales, have more conversations, and close more sales, you guys. The stuff that I teach, if I'm talking about it, I can help you do it. Okay. All right, you guys. Now, for those of you who were in the Brand to Sales Masterclass last week, I'll be sending you an email and giving out, letting you know about those final opportunities that are available for joining the Expert Branding Academy, and your final opportunity to upgrade to VIP so that I can show you how to design your premium offer. And if you didn't do the Brand to Sales Masterclass and you're watching, just reach out to me if you're interested in any of those opportunities that I just mentioned. Amen, Natasha. Show up and demonstrate your gifts. Yes. Listen, I said this, Natasha. I said I was on a podcast, and I said something like, I had this concept of like, marketing like Jesus. And it was a Christian podcast. And I said, Jesus showed up, he demonstrated his gifts, he went to the people, right? You see a lot of times Jesus saying, oh, I must go to Samaria, or I must go. Like, he went where the people were. He went where the people were who needed him. Like, there's so many examples in Jesus's walk that we can apply to business that are mind blowing, right? Y'all, do y'all know that later on, the show that I was on, they did a show on marketing like Jesus? I was like, oh, I guess, like what I said really stuck, right? So Natasha, like, there's so much to unpack in what you just said. Like, we might need to do a session on just that, like marketing like Jesus, be like Jesus. All right, guys, this has been wonderful. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Shoot me an email, info@shantaprince.com, or send me a message if you need to chat about anything that I talked about, or if you're interested in any of my programs. I also have some really other special opportunities coming up, guys. So reach out, let's talk. I just talked to you about talking, right? So reach out to me, let's talk, okay? All right, lady, I'm so glad. I got your message too. I'm gonna respond to your message in just a few minutes. All right, y'all, have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see y'all back here next Thursday at the same place and the same time. Have a great one. See you soon.